How you doing? This is Recently Played, and I'm gonna give you my honest thoughts, feelings, and opinions on the ReVe Festival 2022 Feel My Rhythm by Red Velvet. Let's get into it. Red Velvet has put out quite a lot of music, and I can say that they haven't really released anything that I dislike. If I had to pick one, I would say that the ReVe Festival from 2019 is probably my least favorite Red Velvet release. But even looking back on it, even though I wasn't into them at the time, Zim Zalabim and Oompa Oompa, I appreciate them for what they are. They're quite audacious and weird and in your face, which is something that I genuinely like about Red Velvet. And I bring this up because their latest album is titled The ReVe Festival 2022. So, as you can imagine, I was a little skeptical about it. But I think going into it, what I want to hear from Red Velvet is, again, that audacious and bold, in-your-face quirkiness. And I want to be surprised. I want to be caught off guard more than anything. I think that's what makes Red Velvet a lot of fun to listen to. And so, now I've had some time to digest the album, listen to it a bunch of times, gather my thoughts on it. What do I think of the ReVe Festival 2022 Feel My Rhythm? I think it's pretty solid. I'm going to get into my individual thoughts on the tracks in a bit, but to summarize, I think, with the exception of the title track, I find most of this album to be pretty generic and predictable, but the vocals are really the saving grace of this album. They do meet the standard of Red Velvet's discography. They're always fun and memorable in tracks that might not be so otherwise. In particular, I thought that Joy and Wendy's verses were quite distinctive and memorable, but maybe that's just because I listened to a lot of Joy and Wendy last year. And, to try and give credit where credit is due, I know that Wendy plays a pretty big role in the writing and arranging of the vocal parts for the group. And I just gotta say that her hard work really does show in the final product. And, she's doing a great job. Like I said, the saving grace of this album are the vocals. They're just so well written and arranged. And of course, I gotta give a shout out to a fellow Canadian out there killing it in the world. Okay, to get right into it, title track, Feel My Rhythm. This track is awesome. It's exactly what I was talking about. It's weird, it's bold, it's audacious. The whole song is based around a Bach sample, which I did not see coming. I know that it was in the teaser videos, but I didn't think it would literally be the song. And the sample is utilized in such an interesting and creative way. I think the chorus is really memorable and catchy, but it's also just kind of weird. Like, it doesn't quite go where you want it to go, and I really like that about it. And I think some of the trappy, more hip-hop influenced elements of the song are really cool as well. I like how the sample is used in the second verse. Like, by itself, that is a really cool hip-hop beat. And I love those crazy kind of glitchy hyper-pop moments in between the sections. They're just this great juxtaposition to the classical sample. I think it adds to the chaotic, overwhelming acid trip that is Feel My Rhythm. Overall, just great song right away. One of my favorite Red Velvet songs. I think alone, this song is definitely a winner. I think it's really cool. To move on, Rainbow Halo. I quite enjoy this track as well. It's not as crazy and innovative as Feel My Rhythm, but I think it follows it up quite nicely. I think it's, very tight, very groovy beat, bright and happy, but also has that alternative edge, which is something that I can say about Feel My Rhythm as well. And again, I'm going to be saying this a lot, but the vocals are super fun. The phrasing is really cool. I like the Rainbow Halo this. I think that's really fun, and that's a cool idea. And I do like it as a second track. I think it works pretty well. Now getting into Beg for Me, this is where the album starts to get less interesting. The song is fine. Like, it's well made. In particular, I think Wendy's rapping verse is pretty interesting and cool about it. Again, it's just kind of all right. And I think it kind of deviates from the concept initially established from Feel My Rhythm, and that's a complaint that I'm gonna share for the next two songs as well. Bomboleo Bombalaya. To be honest, I was a little disappointed when I first heard the song. I'm like, a city pop track? Really? Like, it sounds like a Yukika track, and there's nothing wrong with Yukika. I am a fan of Yukika. If you watched my favorite albums of 2021 video, you'd know that I named Time About one of my favorite albums of the year. But, it just feels like a lazy and a safe choice. Like, a Red Velvet album should be something special and memorable, and like so many groups are doing city pop now, there's really nothing that innovative or different about it. It's kind of just a pretty safe choice, and it's pretty easy not to screw up at this point. But it's not a bad city pop influence track by any means. I think it's a lot of fun to listen to, and it's pretty cool and interesting. And again, the vocal lines are catchy and memorable, and they're probably my favorite part of the song, but it just kind of makes the album feel unfocused. Like, sure, I would love to hear Red Velvet's city pop album. Like, I would love to hear their take on city pop, but one track on a mini album just makes it feel kind of Good, Bad, Ugly. Sure, fine. It's another Red Velvet song. I don't hate it. It's fine. I don't love it either. It's fine. I probably won't remember it 2 days from now, but In My Dreams, I think really kind of brings back the theme and the concept of Feel My Rhythm, and it does kind of, pick it up and save this album a little bit by the end. I really like the kind of waltz feel of the song, and I think it does bring back that classical art concept that they established with the first song, and I think it's a good finale, and all that. I think it does a good job in itself, but also it just feels undeserved. It doesn't really feel like I went on much of a journey on this short album, and it doesn't really cement it as any kind of artistic statement. It's just kind of, a good ending to a kind of unfocused album. So, overall, I think there was some missed potential here. I really would have liked them to just commit to some sort of direction with this mini album, in the same way that they did for the song Feel My Rhythm. I think Feel My Rhythm, Rainbow Halo, and In My Dreams work really well together. I don't really think that there's anything particularly wrong with those songs individually, but I think if they took the other 3 tracks and replaced them with something more fitting for the album, this could have been a great album comparable to Perfect Velvet. But, at the end of the day, the production is tight, the vocals are memorable. This album is not a flop, and it's not a mess. It definitely does meet Red Velvet's standards. Pretty good. 7.3 out of 10. Alrighty, those are my thoughts, feelings, and opinions on the ReVe Festival 2022 Feel My Rhythm by Red Velvet. Hope you enjoyed this video. You want to see more videos? You gotta like and subscribe. Just do it. Catch you next time.